Welcome back from that extended break. Oh, sorry, it felt extended. It was about the same length as the game before it. Now we're getting into match number 2, unemployment and Vipers. Cookies, I know you love talking about Carnage being the boys, so I'll let you start.
I love it. What's on my lips? Is that my mustache? Anyway, I love talking about unemployment because you know what? Indy is my favorite player right now. Even though his stats may not show it, Indy has been the consistent thing in a season full of injuries for unemployment, which we've talked about it at many of times. Mikey wasn't here for huge stretches of it. Um, Indy tried his best to step up into critical moments for this team and to try to fill the gaps that we're missing. And I think he'll do more of that today. I think you'll see a lot out of Indy. Unemployment's in a very peculiar situation. They can't get relegated and they can't do the relegating. They're just in a spot where they're just kind of playing today. And hopefully, looking to add something to their stage 3 and overall standings and placements. Because right now, like I said, they're not in a spot where they can do much. Literally, they're just kind of playing. And it's awesome.
Well, I mean, I hope for their sake that they remember that the points still accumulate at the end of the whole year. Now, Tanner, Vipers, formerly known as West Garfield Park, they have been looking good. They had a slower start, lack of games, but also maybe a bit of lack of performance. But man, oh man, that's in the past at this point.
They're a team that, we saw this at stage 1. We're seeing it again stage 2. It's a slow start, but they have been looking hot as of recently. You got players like Snake, Valor, even Bio and Slip have been performing to a really high standard. Rice has come up clutch in multiple games, and now they're in the money. Like, they're in the top 4 for playoffs for stage 3. They need every point they can get. We already talked in the pregame show how competitive it is. So this is one of those games that, you need to start getting these points because it's your position to lose. And if they just keep playing the way that they have been playing, this should be one of those games that, it goes heavily in their favor.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about their roster in particular, and you touched on it, Tanner, is I feel like every player on that team, more so than any other team, provides such a specific ingredient to that team's success and really brings a different piece. CJ, unemployment. They got, like I said, they got to remember that there's still points to be had. Although this stage, you're not moving up and you're not moving down. It doesn't really matter. Let's say they get these points and have a good stage 3. This still matters.
Yeah, as long as Karn keeps the whole team together, because that's been his thing. People just leave him for the big leagues. But I think today they should just I think they should loosen up and have fun. Bio explicitly said on interview, right? He said this. So expect it today again. Karn's team is very telegraphed. If you kind of throw sticks at him and make them trip over it, they're going to have problems executing and doing what they need to do. So I'm expecting Karn's team, I'm hoping Karn's team will come out a little looser and kind of unpredictable, something that they have quite literally never really done, just based on the circumstances in their standings, but also just based on who they're playing against. Bio's going to be ready for the choreographed takes. So hopefully they do something loose. Hopefully they float around and have more success on the defensive side, especially Hat seems to disappear on that side. Maybe he just needs to get more ghetto. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for today.
Well, hopefully they do have a couple of wild cards in the bunch, because over on the Vipers, they have a trap card in the form of Rice. This guy just lingers around, doesn't do too much, and then, as you said, Tanner, he is clutch.
So clutch.
He's had some of the most impressive moments.
He's been impressive since stage 1 when he was in Aqualix. He was a player that was pulling out a lot of round wins for the team of Aqualix that they really shouldn't have had, and he's doing the same here on the side of Vipers. For Vipers, like, they've been playing rock solid recently. The biggest point I have for them, or the biggest gray area that they have, is they're able to execute, they're able to get the bomb down, but in the post plant, they're typically losing. We saw that last weekend where they ended up losing, I believe it was 2 post plants where they really shouldn't have lost. So for me, the biggest point for them on the attacking half is to just, make sure that, like, you're playing your post plants a little bit better. Fall back, try and get drones on the diffuser. Don't try and take every gunfight that you need to get, and try and play the post plant as a team, which is something that, in a week's time, you could rehearse that and you could practice that. And I'm pretty sure they would have done that, because that would have been the big glaring issue that I always seen in VOD review. And the second one is like CJ alluded to, Karn's team is a team that's very telegraphed. They're very predictable. You want to throw monkey wrench into their plan. So the first thing you could do, especially on the defensive half, is attack their drones, force them to go in blind, make sure that they can't see what they're doing, hit them with the rat positions or the funky positions, and you're going to basically mop up all their entries on the defensive half. And then basically you just give Snake the ability to do what he does best, which is lurk around on the roam and just absolutely cause havoc for any attacking team. And if they go to a bigger map and they attack the drones, I think this should be a sure thing for Vipers today.
Well, I hope, Cookies, if you want Unemployment to play a little more loose, a little more unpredictable, you would hope that they're not going to the likes of Oregon or Clubhouse, where it's pretty vanilla Siege.
I would hope not. But I guess it's going to insta-ban by Vipers anyway. There you go. You have a border ban from Carnage B's team. We're also seeing Villa ban by Vipers. That's actually peculiar. I would have assumed. Tan, I don't know about you. I would have assumed that's one of Vipers' favorite maps.
I would think so, but Carnage Teams has had their success so far the stage on that map in off-stream games. We never got to see any of them. But the fact that it's going to Chalet is interesting. Last time these two teams played in stage 1, they played on Chalet, and it was a 7-5 victory for Vipers. And I would say since that time, I would say Vipers have looked a lot stronger than they did in stage 1, whereas Carnage Teams kind of stayed the same team overall. They probably improved, but not to the degree that Vipers had. So this is actually an interesting choice from the side of Unemployment to want to take a team to a map that they already previously lost. Hopefully they learned something from that. Maybe they're trying to draw on the inspiration from there. But this has never been one of those maps that's been particularly strong for the side of Unemployment ever since stage 1.
Okay, well, the predictions are going to come up in just a moment, and I have to imagine that West Garfield is going to take the edge a little bit here. But Cookies, I know. Let's just move it along. Let's keep our focus.
They just wanted to rub in that you
picked
picked Alisar.
Yeah, I don't know why we're showing that again. All right.
He wants to forget, okay? It was a painful memory, and we're moving on. But I have to imagine, CJ, that this map of Chalet lends well to your line about Unemployment, because you can play unpredictably. You can also play very normally on Chalet. It's a very flexible map.
Okay, when I say have fun, right? Fun to me, I don't know about you guys, fun to me is like, it's the garage site, and you've got the glass and the OSA and smoking, and you do a crazy fun execute. Forceful, you talked about how this wasn't a good map for Karn. That was beautiful. They had a 5-1, or excuse me, they shoulda, woulda had a good attacking half against Rent Free. They should have tightened up their defenses, and they could tighten up their defenses today. There's potential for that. And I think on the attacking side, they very much have an elite Chalet. They showed some fun strategies, some good strategies on the attacking side. But defensively, they're going to have to scrape rounds out. And that's, I guess, where there's concern, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that with Vipers, Tanner, that I guess you kind of alluded to it there, they have history, 7-5 on this map. You think we're going to see an even better scoreline than that from the side of Vipers with their improvements?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because Chalet is a cheese-heavy map, and they picked up none other than the cheese connoisseur himself, Slippery, this offstage. Slippery and Snake are going to have an absolute field day, being able to have dynamic entry points to come in and pinch off roamers. CJ was talking about how Carnage Team's probably going to have to work on their defensive half. I think it's really difficult to play defense on this map in general. And the fact that, they have players that can come in with these dynamic entries and hit the knock and hit the jackal and hit the basement entries, I think a lot of the roamers are just going to find that they're going to get naded from below, or they're going to get, pinched from multiple attackers from multiple directions, and they're just going to get cleaned up. And I think with Carnage Team, with how, I don't want to say stale, they're kind of like immobile. They don't really move a lot on their defensive half. I think this is a map that if you don't move and if you're not active and you're not getting active with your positioning, you're going to get naded out and pinched the entire time. So I think this heavily favors Vipers. I think they've gotten a lot better, and I still don't think there's a chance.
Well, Cookies, if you're going up against some stinky cheese on the side of Vipers, which player in particular in your mind on Unemployment is the player to do that?
Yeah, you're talking field days. Listen, Hat can have a field day too against these guys. I don't see you're talking all this. I know we all pick Vipers, okay, right? I'm gonna get that out of the way, but I don't think Unemployment's just gonna sit there and get rolled, right? I think they have guys. Hat can definitely match Slippery. Slippery's been, if anything, they're kind of equal in terms of inconsistency. But I feel like Slippery versus Hat, I would take Hat 9 out of 10 times. Okay, I just want to debate that there, Forceful.
You're missing one key factor in there, CJ.
What key
which
factor
is
am I missing?
this is Slippery's last game as a player in Challenge League. He's announced a couple weeks ago that he's retiring.
Yeah,
so
I
I think he's going to go out with a bang. He's going to put up a performance. I think he's going to be my key player to watch in this game because, as he mentioned, he's another kid on the way. I think this is his last time playing in Challenge League.
So you're thinking that the aged cheddar is unbeatable at this point. It's ripe and it's ready.
It's stinky, and I like it.
Okay, Cookies, just before we get into it, are you sure you don't want to change your vote?
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I've got you talking about unemployment. I've got you talking about them.
I think Hat's a great player, but because Hat did not vote for me in FPL, I think they're gonna lose. I think otherwise I literally would have picked them. I've picked them a bunch this stage. I think this is a sleeper team. I think it's just spite. It's spite. I don't like Hat right now.
I mean, it's best of ones.
I like unemployment as a team. Hat hurts me. Okay, so now I'm picking Vipers. That's just how it goes.
Okay, well, you are doomed to curse us all with the Vipers vote across the board. Guys, I think we may have given unemployment their best chance simply by virtue of Cookies not deciding to move over. So we can all blame Cookies after this, but I think the players are just about ready to go. I hope our casters are ready to go. We are going to go to Chalet for hopefully the cheesiest match we've seen all stage. Unemployment taking on Vipers.
That's right, Jim. We are very ready. And Jonah, I gotta agree with Tanner, I think. And a map like Chalet, like you said, very cheesy. And there's two ways to play it, right? You're either in the building really early and like your site executes are coming down to like 3v3, 2v2 or whatever, or you're just you're just bum rushing in. It's like a 5v5 execute with 20 seconds left. I feel like Vipers are gonna excel in either of them, right? Because you take unemployment, like they said, very telegraphed, very static. And if you asked me to choose Hat and CZ versus Valor and Snake, I gotta go with Valor and Snake. We just haven't seen the same level of consistency from unemployment.
Yeah, it'll be something that I think, Chalet is perfect for, like you said, perfect for that kind of play style, and also something that we're going to have to look at the teams and say, okay, is one team really playing their absolute hardest right now, or like CJ said, are they trying to have a little bit of fun and close out the stage? I think it was important, though, that Brim highlighted that all of these points are very relevant for the overall standings when you end stage 3, right? All your points will tally up, and that'll really shape our playoff picture at the end of the year. So that is definitely something that these teams have to have in the back of their minds. But right now, it's Chalet, and it's the cheese, like we've said, that we could see coming out now. But our bans will get underway, so we'll have a pretty clear idea soon enough of what type of Chalet we are dealing with. And the fact that the Nook is taken off the board first is not too much of a surprise, nor will it impact play too significantly. And the Finca, although that may be a surprise for most maps, Chalet and these players we have in this lobby, that Finca ban is honestly not that unusual.
Especially like people like Hat. You don't want to give Hat that Finca. He has been a little inconsistent, but when he's on one, he is on one. So 3 of the cheesiest operators now, if we're going to continue that bit, right? Nook, very sneaky. She can find a lot of use on Chalet if you get her into the right position. Finca, as we all know, she's just a good operator, but also people can LMG crutch. Her HP boost is really, really good. She brings nades off the board. Azami, so fluid as an operator. You can really fit her into any play style, and especially on Chalet, where there's so much shield play, you do not want to give the defense the added benefit of the Azami and just the Wamai ban to round things out. But Jonah, that also does mean Mira and Valkyrie are still left up for the defense should unemployment choose to use them.
Yeah, that's dangerous to walk up against if you're an attacking team. And while we say that this map generally can be attacker-sided, and it generally falls that way, if a defensive team brings out both the Mira and the Valkyrie in any given round, feels like that round is probably a bit more balanced than it was before those operators came out. Because with the Mira, you've got so many different positions on this map where you can just lock it down and hold different power positions, especially on this bomb site. That's why it's particularly surprising we don't see the Mira from unemployment right now, but also the Valkyrie with the amount of intel she adds to a defensive team. I mean, it's simply ridiculous at times, especially if those cams don't get identified by the attackers early. You bring out the Valkyrie, then maybe we see the IQ come out to counter it, and it's just this, back and forth chess match between the defensive operator selection and the attackers and what they choose to bring out. But right now, neither of those operators are in the mix. It's going to be an unemployment bar and games hold without the mirror windows to support their top floor extension. Instead, they're going to rely on a bit of an extension elsewhere on the map. At least for Mikey, that is not going to work out whatsoever.
I guess he was downstairs. And Snake gets the leadoff kill in this match. Luckily for the defense, Mikey has already put down all of his utility. His his Banshees are all down, and he also was bringing a bulletproof cam. So, well, not a Valkyrie still, but of extra info is always useful for the defense. CZ, the next to take damage. You saw him earlier in the round. Or no, that was a different player. I saw the new red dot, and I assumed it was Jaeger, but I forgot everyone has those now. So it wasn't actually CZ who was peeking that bar window. He's actually top blue, as any good Jaeger should be. Supported, of course, by Hat, playing on Chimney, who hasn't brought out a shield, instead has impact so that he can protect himself and, hard breach, or from the hard breach that goes on in that library wall. You can go ahead and try an impact trick, but where the hard breach is going right now, no one's pressuring him. This is not a library take at all. This is all coming from the north side of the building. But the flashbang! Rice exposes himself just a bit too much, and CZ lands a stinker, but followed up by an equally excellent shot from Snake. CZ getting a little bit too aggressive over that shield will drop the man advantage.
Yeah, the kind of environment where Snake can thrive and unemployment have to be very wary of this, especially Indy. Rather, it's both Indy and Hat who are going to feel this pressure very soon as Snake rotates around towards this balcony window, trying to see if he can spot out any of these defenders as they rotate around. Hat is likely not going to expose himself to that angle from Chimney. Right, has the protection of the Chimney itself, of these reinforcements, but does have to worry about two different angles at once. Tempted to potentially rotate down, at least avoiding that well-placed nade from Snake for now, but not dodging the bullets of Valor, who sneaks up from behind. That's going to rid Hat from this top floor extension, and Snake now finishing off Indy, leaves this one all up to Karn. Picks up that kill onto Valor, but now finds himself in a 1 versus 3, and he'll have to find the quad kill if he wants to clutch this. There's another one onto Snake, making this one somewhat doable here. He knows where Bio is coming from, and he lands the triple. That's big.
Karn?
He spots out Slippery, and he could absolutely land this last kill. Slippery chooses to sprint at him and take the fight, and Karn will clean it up with a 1v4 clutch, opening up round number 1 with a bang.
Vipers were incredibly poised to take that round, especially after a triple kill from Snake, getting the Chimney position finally clear thanks to Valor, as the Alibi tried to go down the main stairs, and then Vipers just don't really play off of each other. I mean, first, Valor tried to take initiative into the site. I don't know if he had any logic bombs left. If he did, he should have used it. If he didn't, oh well. Tried to take the initiative. Walked into sight, died to Karn because Vipers didn't have any info. And despite dying and having the info on where Karn was, Snake was looking the exact opposite way and was obviously very ignorant of the angle right next to him leading to the main, the bar door into the main lobby. And from there, Bio is trying to hold blue stairs while Slip is in the site. So instead of consolidating and either playing off the trade or playing for the plant with Bio covering it, again, those two players are separated. There's no chance for a trade. So odd placement of their manpower from Vipers, but you got to give it up to Karn from Unemployment. He's, as CJ would put it, not typically the most athletic player that we reference on this squad, but turning it up when his team needed it.
Going for another one of these dastardly peeks. Backs off, though, just in the nick of time, as looks like Vipers have read into that now. But back-to-back rounds, seeing the same thing from Indy, you can definitely tell that Unemployment, or at least Indy, want to bring out some of this early aggression. They don't want to have to rely on those kind of clutch plays to win every single round of this defensive half. They're going to want to spread the love, allow everyone to contribute if they can, but right now, It's going to come down to these early players contesting on the top floor. That's going to be their focus right now as Vipers try to work their way in and clear out CZ, clear out Hat from this top floor position. Not something that I don't think Unemployment are going to let them do easily. Look at that. CZ collects the opener on Slippery, dropping down the Twitch early on. Hat getting naded out, but so far gets away unscathed.
Wow.
That's really well played.
That is incredibly lucky there for Hat. Good cover from his teammate, but you gotta question Vipers not having really anyone covering the position to capitalize off of the flush nade. But I guess well done to Unemployment for holding that position for as long as they did, almost half the round, and getting a kill off of it for really no skin off their back. Now it's upon Vipers to, again, take that initiative, take that upstairs control, try and flush out Hat and Mikey and CZ, 3 people on the top floor as quickly as possible and get this push going, because, I mean, they've only got a minute 15 left, and only now is Rice opening up that main site wall. And honestly, with so much presence upstairs, I would be surprised if Vipers just forgoes the top floor clear and tries to hit site directly with only 1 player on it.
Looks like they're trying to determine if that strat is viable. Snake sending that Gemini clone all throughout the site. Clearing it out for the most part. They've identified that there is at least 1 player nearby. That's Karn. You've got another who's now rotated up towards the site to support Karn in that position. That's Indy, who's come up from those west main stairs. But Vipers, they're looking to just commit to this, it appears. CZ trying to hold this long angle to support the team from that long range. Bio now will try to probably challenge into that very angle in just a moment. But this scuffle, it's got to happen soon. Vipers, it is very clear that they are not committing upstairs right now, as they have committed all of their utility, all of their man count down to the site below, and already it's not working. Rice has been dropped. Bio cut down to 1 HP and now finished off by CZ, who's on for a triple. Valor's been taken care of, so Snake has to come in very clutch, and he gets 2 kills, but cannot get 2 more. Unemployment take back-to-back rounds. That's 2 in a row.
Very well played to CZ, getting a kill on that extension and being able to fall back. That's where it started to go wrong for Vipers. And just the sheer amount of time that was wasted by those library roamers meant it was not realistic for Vipers to go for that full top clear and still have enough time to transition and get a proper execute going. So I don't disagree with the decision to go direct, but there just wasn't enough ground gained. There wasn't enough coverage for Rice. You could see the only thing that Rice could do to try and shove himself through that breach was off his own flashes, which were, I wouldn't say mistimed. It was just CZ having the confidence to stay in the line of fire of that flashbang, knowing that something was going to try and come off of it. Got the kill on Rice just before he was blinded and, you know, picked off a couple other attackers after that. Additionally, we had one of the players from Unemployment, I think it was Indy? I can't remember. I think it was Indy going upstairs and reclaiming the top floor control and getting a kill up there as well. And Unemployment just had all their pieces in the right spot at the right time. And it was all down to just that really early time waste.
Calling back to what we first said when we entered this map, Harrison, about the Mira and the Valkyrie. Surprising that even without the Mira and the Valkyrie, 2 rounds in a row, Unemployment have done just fine, making this map look totally defensive-sided, totally safe for the defense without bringing those additional 2 vital, what you would think of as powerful operators, must-brings on the defense historically. Unemployment bringing out that creativity, bringing out that early aggression, and while it's worked for 2 rounds, it doesn't appear it's going to work for a 3rd, as Hat will get shut down as the opening pick, leaving Mikey on the roam upstairs, kind of isolated and out to dry.
Still could be call going out as well. No one from Vipers too close to Mikey, but they should have some idea that someone's upstairs. Another defender tentatively climbing those main stairs as well as Mikey starts to retreat downwards. No one's on the trophy cutoff, so he's safe for now. Rice evacuates the building after opening one of those hatches, and now we'll see where they decide to go. Probably going to be a main breach take. That's where Rice is currently droning. There is an Electro Claw place they're covering, so probably going to be on Bio or Slippery to take care of that utility, and there it is. The Twitch drone deals with the Cade Claw, Rice is able to go ahead and get his breach down. And there's nothing from the Cade. CZ does not have an electric claw in pocket, and there you go. A massive amount of control for the attack now, cutting off pretty much the entirety of the of the B bomb site.
IO spotting out Karn here, but a bit of a premature drone, it feels like, because Vipers are not really in position to take that space just yet. Still a lot of map to clear their way through. I mean, just if they want to work their way down the blue hall, which they're doing right now, they've got to come across Indy. They have not forced him out with utility. They're just going to let him be a serious nuisance. Indy's able to find one, but now Rice is getting this bomb down, sticking it all the way through, and while Unemployment tried to step up, really good coverage from Snake and Rice will prevail. It's all up to CZ, who doesn't even know where to look, gets completely turned around, and Snake catches him with his back turned to take round number 3, putting Vipers on the board for the first time.
So finally, a point for Vipers. Started off with a very early kill onto Hat from Slippery. And from there, Unemployment were forced back down to the bomb site. There was really no opportunity for them to flank upwards. And if they tried, obviously, they failed. I was really concerned about that duo blue push, especially with Slip getting taken out with no refrag and Indy being able to peek out and actually kill Valor right after that plant went down. But Snake, just around the corner, he was able to get the trade and ended up getting the finisher. Unfortunately, with an open snowmobile garage breach like that and the plant down in B, it's an almost impossible retake. Like, it is... It's not impossible. We've seen it done before. It's just exceedingly difficult, especially with the attackers outside and inside. There's just so much control that you have to deal with as the defense, and yeah, not super realistic that round's gonna work in your favor. So, all in the Vipers, Rice getting that plant down as well. So they turn the 2-round lead into a single point. It's Unemployment. They go back to Old Faithful. They'll go back to Bar, where they had starting things out. But remember, it wasn't necessarily a great round from them. It was down to a 1v4 from Karn.
Right, it was not a great round from Unemployment as a whole. It was just a great round from Karn, and it was Vipers who did a pretty good job at clearing out the top floor, working their way through the site, and providing some really good coverage when Unemployment tried to relocate. A prime example was Hat falling off of that top floor position right by the chimney, rotating his way down below, but then surprise, somebody from Vipers was ready for that rotate and had, I think it was Valor, who had that kill, took him out with the DMR on the Dokkaebi in that previous round. So the same situation, we could see that developing here in round number 4, but I think if Vipers had it their way, they would take care of Hat on the top floor much earlier this time. A couple of changes, though, right, from Unemployment. Vipers are going to have to work their way through Mikey now, who's holding a bit of an extension over in Kitchen itself. Valor close around the other side. Looks like neither player really heard each other, but finally when Mikey exposes himself, Valor will flub the kill. A huge missed opportunity that keeps Mikey in this fight. Finally, Mikey will try to slip away, and by some miracle, he does. Now Vipers will have to pivot if they want to track him down.
Valor, unfortunately, the SMG-12 getting the best of him. DMR not enough to secure the kill on Mikey. Mikey tucks himself downstairs in a corner as well. Very ratty from Mikey, right around the washing machine, banking on, hopefully, Vipers not droning him out. This is Bar, so there does sometimes tend to be basement presence from the attack. Any of them go down there, they'll be met with a surprise. Now, luckily for the attack, though, there's no shield here to deal with, but there is a wild CZ, who peeks up, says, I don't need no damn shield, and rips the head off a Snake.
Yeah, he's just going to hold that position, shield or not. He has those ADSs to protect him from some nades, so as long as he doesn't expose himself, peeks at the right time, he should be fine to hold this for a little bit longer. As I say that, he will challenge at the wrong time, gets lit up by Rice, but actually does more damage to Rice than was done to him. It also enables Hat to go huge, taking down Bio as he walks in, and CZ will follow that one up, finishing off the Hibana, who he already tore apart. It's just Valor and Slippery, the last two standing against 5 Unemployment defenders who really don't need to do anything but sit back and wait at this point. One of them, Hat, will get too aggressive for his own good, walking right into the open arms of Valor. But it's Valor spotted out here in the main hall, as there's only 15 seconds left. unlikely that he's going to be able to get much done. Slippery hoping to bounce something back. Will collect that kill onto CZ, finally removing that pesky Jaeger. But as Valor tries to walk in, he finds a load of bullets straight to the face. You've got Indy finishing off Slippery at the same time. And you've got another round going to the unemployment defense. They certainly cleaned up that bar and games hold.
Oh, same thing like we saw in Dining. A beautiful top floor hold on top blue and library, despite CZ not having a shield, still able to get 2 kills from top blue. In no world should that be possible, but it seems Snake and Rice were just the victims of a couple really well-placed shots. Also got a question. Bio hopping through the balcony window and just shooting the default. I guess unaware that Hat was still Chimney, even though he played there last time and has played there 3 rounds now. That was kind of odd. So a lot of forfeited lives. I mean, you lost 3 just on the top floor clear for, I think, 1 at the end of that as Hat just sprinted down main. So not a whole lot of opportunity for Vipers in that round because they didn't have a very good top floor clear. Now unemployment go down to Dining, where they had very, again, efficiently shut down the top floor presence from Vipers.
That's what this one's going to come down to as well, right? I mean, can unemployment lock this down and force Vipers to just leave? That's how strong it was last time, Harrison. I know you hinted at this, but the Vipers just avoided the top floor after unemployment essentially showed that top floor hold would be a bit too scary to clear out. There was a bit too much utility. Vipers decided we've got no other option. We've already lost a body. Let's just commit to getting this site open. Now, this round will not start the same way. Instead, it will start with a kill for Vipers. And on to Hat, one of these players you expect to be holding the top floor, should enable Vipers to do a bit more with this round, to get a bit more done. They've already tore apart CZ as well, who's cut down to just 1 HP. Indy's able to find a kill onto Valor, though, in the meantime, and as Snake tries to take this control, I mean, unemployment, they are going to fall back swiftly. So a big difference in this round, right, is that Vipers are able to enter this top floor early. And yes, they've lost a body, but they've also been able to trade that kill back. That's just half of the top floor. Now they've got to decide how much of the rest of this top floor do they want to clear their way through.
Slippery now eating damage, so the HP pretty much evened up with both CZ and Slippery low. Minute 42 left in the round, so plenty of time for Vipers to make that decision you were talking about. They could still have a lot of options. They do still have hard breach if they want to open that office wall. Indy is just challenging this bathroom window, daring Rice to peek him. And the ace will not re-peek, at least not yet. Sends out a Selma, but I think it got destroyed. Nade going out destroys the shield, and in comes the attack. Trying to clear as best they can. Slippery lands a beautiful shot onto Indy. The next to die is CZ vaulting on the bed. Mikey, rather hurt as well, starts to retreat as Slippery has been downed. So full top floor control in the favor of Vipers. Man advantage also in the favor of this attack as they now slow down once again. They know they have the control. They're starting to breach open the hatch. It's very good that they don't want to get ahead of themselves. They don't want to throw another round to Carnage B like they did in round 1.
Well, the risky approach that Vipers took looks like it has paid off beautifully. Now it's Mikey alone on a 1 versus 4 with a not lot of intel and no HP really to work with either. 1 bullet from any of these attackers now turned to defenders holding this top floor, just staring Mikey down. Well, this bomb goes down as well. Yeah, there it is. It'll be Snake actually on the first floor who gets that kill. But like I was saying, Vipers electing to go for the more risky take on that top floor, right? Clearing all the way through rather than just opening up office and that dining wall and planting. They wanted to play for those kills. And that kind of strategy, it clearly worked.
Yeah, as soon as they took out that shield and closet, it seemed like that was go time for the attack. Beautiful shot landed by Slippery as well. To start things off, CZ got caught vaulting on a bed. So a lot of those unemployment members upstairs were getting killed out of position. That's good on Vipers for capitalizing on it. I kind of agree with their decision as well, considering they only had an ace. They didn't have a thermite, so if they were to ace open the wall, it's a lot harder to get through it than if you have a thermite, which Rice is now donning. As unemployment the last round in the half will bring out Master and Office. The first time they have played this site, so they forego Garage, figuring, all right, if Vipers are going to go ahead and attack the Snowmobile Garage side, not a lot we can do to stop it. Might as well switch up the site, go Master, and set up top library once again. Something that Vipers has now failed to clear 2 different times.
Yeah, Vipers, they've done it well sometimes, right, Harrison? And then they've just kind of flubbed it other times in terms of the way they've been clearing out this map. Oh, Indy. Peak that Indy has tried and failed every single round will nearly get a kill onto Valor, but cutting down Valor to 1 HP instead is a nice consolation prize, you could say. There's still going to be a pretty tough top floor extension for Vipers to clear out, but now that Valor is pretty lit up, and generally you want your Dokkaebi to be using that DMR, to be using that primary utility to just take the base and open up the map for your team, given that Valor is not going to be that helpful on the execute anyway. Little HP is not going to be helpful in that endeavor. So Vipers are going to have to pivot and maybe put Slippery next to Valor in an effort to support him, play off that control. In case you lose Valor, you've got somebody there to play the trade. But Vipers right now going for 2 different takes right now. A split take on this top floor. You've got some pressure on the Solarium windows. You've got some pressure down below from Bio. But on the other side of the map, you've got Valor and Slippery who were trying to work their way into Library. And we kind of already know how that has gone. Slippery has lost his life in about 30 seconds of that attack.
So again, Vipers struggling to clear the library side of things. It seems like they're abandoning it as Hat finishes off what little was left of Valor. Another one of those players who is holding by the library side of things. Bio now abandoning the push. Looks like he's going to go towards Piano to assist his team, but the trophy clear hasn't been going according to plan either. Haven't made their way into the building yet. Snake is now in the basement. Maybe looking to come up west main and take control of bottom trophy with Bio. I mean, they have a couple nades. They could throw some depth charges at the defense. They also have pings on the Aruni who's roaming downstairs, but they've got to take him out quickly. There's only 55 seconds left in the round, and if they want to make any use of this downstairs control, Mikey's got to be their next target, and he's got to be dealt with in the next 15 seconds or so. Nade from Snake goes out, but goes extremely wide. In fact, I think it hits Indy upstairs, but as CZ gets a kill, and Mikey follows it up, Rice is alone in a 1v5, and it looks like Unemployment are going to take a 4-2 half.
Yeah, they are poised to take this defensive half very successfully, I might add, right? There were a couple of slip-ups. There were a couple of rounds where Vipers were able to move in really quickly and take that control. But for the most part, Unemployment have been looking pretty tidy, much like they did in this final round. Flawless round to close out their defensive half. You start off the half with a flashy play from Karn, a 1v4 clutch, and you end it with a nice team contribution. Everyone staying alive, everyone doing their job to perfection and shutting down that Vipers clear before it could really even get going. Way to kick off this map for Unemployment. They came in as the underdogs, and right now they are showing that they can more than hang in.
Yeah, surprisingly not dominant, but very well fought from Unemployment considering their position in the standings. I mean, if we want to check the leaderboard real quick, Vipers, I mean, sure, they're in 7th, but, you know, they're only 1 game behind 3rd place. So it's not, it's like they're in 7th, but it's not because they're bad. It's just because the season has been really, really, really close. Meanwhile, Unemployment, though, sitting down at 9. It's impossible for them to get anything above 8th. And hey, I mean, if they win their game here, if Ariel win their game as well, or if then, you know, Unemployment are going to stay in 9th. But Unemployment have been putting up a valiant effort so far on Chalet. However, they did lose this to Vipers. Remember, the previous time the analyst has talked about it, it was a close 7-5. And already, defensive half starting off well for Vipers. They start with a kill onto CZ.
Yeah, I'm surprised the amount of aggression that Vipers are bringing out so early on, but they are going to double down, and Snake is going to re-peek. He'll down Indy and eventually, you know, get him into a tough spot where he'll have to be recovered, but it really won't matter that much. He's way in the distance. He's going to be easily recovered by Karn, and Hat will pick up a kill onto Slippery, actually, while this is happening. So Unemployment, despite a bit of a hiccup early and the aggression from Vipers paying off for the defense, they'll keep things in an even 4v4, as even as you can be with Indy on low health. Karn, though, he'll change that up with a kill onto Snake, finishing off the Aruni, who was peaking incredibly aggressively. Now, all of a sudden, this advantage is actually in the favors of the Unemployment attack.
Indy is still low. Could be very easily cleaned up for the equalizer. Very slim angle being played by Valor, but neither player lands their shots. Not a lot of manpower left for Vipers to hold this top floor. Valor and Bio are still going to try and do their best. They've got a lot of rotatability on this top floor. I believe the shield is still up, and with Bio getting that kill, like I just said, finishing off Indy, we've got an equal man count once again. The thing that Unemployment does have on their side, though, is time. 1.5 minutes. Still plenty to work with to clear this top floor. All three of them right now stacked up on the windows of Library before Mikey finally drops down. And it seems like they just don't really know how to clear Valor.
Yeah, the problem now for Unemployment is that they're definitely slowing down. They've kind of faced this stalling point in the round where not enough utility, or, well, not the committing of utility yet to clear out Valor. Finally, as that utility comes in, it is simply off the mark. Hat's going to try to maybe just send it in and do it the old-fashioned way, but that's not going to work at all. And Valor doesn't have to give up this position anytime soon either. He's got Bio nearby to support that, and even if Mikey can sneak on the site and try to get cheeky, he doesn't have the case. And with two defenders upstairs still, it's going to be very unlikely that Karn can all of a sudden jump in and get that diffuser in position, because the coverage from the top floor is there. Bio as well seems a bit suspicious of why he hasn't felt the pressure from up top. Now he knows that Mikey is sitting down below. He's going to quickly turn his attention towards the Lion, missing a couple of key shots, but now he's got a chance to clean up either of these two attackers as Mikey, with 1 HP, backs off Karn there to support him, but they are both in a very dangerous position. Valor from above, undisturbed the entire round, gets a clean triple kill and finishes it off, getting Vipers closer to tying us up.
And you got to give it to Valor. The linchpin in that round for Vipers, whether it was intended or not, they lost. Unemployment lost because they couldn't take him out. I mean, they didn't have a terrible top clear, all things considered. It was just that one guy. They couldn't find a way into Library. Valor single-handedly won the round. Unemployment didn't have enough tools to deal with him. They didn't have enough positions to play off of. I mean, they were trying to clear him solely from the Library windows. They didn't have anyone coming off his side. They didn't have anyone on the office window. There was nothing. They just try to jump in, take the straight-up fight. I mean, Hat is in sandwich. Not a lot of maneuverability there, so Valor gets one of the freest kills of his life. And Unemployment just dropped the round, especially missing those shots on the Bio. Probably hurt as well, but I don't think they would have won the round if they had killed him. Just again, when Valor was upstairs. So big 3K for the Alibi. Puts Vipers within 1 round of tying the game. Now go on to Dining. Once again, just like we saw Unemployment do, Vipers will continue to hold upstairs and extend all the way into Library.
Also, what we saw Vipers do in the last round, it's what we're seeing again in the first 10 seconds of round number 8. It is early aggression, specifically from Snake here, as he tries to get a couple of peeks going. He's prepped that sandwich window too in Library in case he wants to just jump out and hunt for some kills that way too. Valor scrambling around this map, setting up a couple of those goo mines to theoretically give him some more intel if he wants to play a bit more of a roaming role and play a bit more aggressively later in the round. But it's not going to work for him just yet, especially not for Snake. As a missed C4 distracts him for a moment, he'll blow it up and then get himself blown up, or at least shot in the back of the head from behind, as Mikey surprised him.
He surprised me. Did he just spray through the wall, or did he have an angle? Like, were there footholds or something he was playing off of? Because to me, it looked like he just straight up shot through the wall. Yeah. I guess that was just a wall bang. All right, well played, Mikey. That's the leadoff kill onto Snake. So while the C4 was already used, it's still a big player down, and that is actually the only C4 operator in the entire defending lineup. So if Unemployment gain control of this full top floor, there's not a whole lot that Vipers are going to be able to do about it other than just peeking like sledge holes or trying to flank back upstairs to retake. Valor on an extended roam just below where Snake once was gets droned out, but unfortunately the attack a little bit too late to capitalize. They had a hole set up, but weren't watching it in time. Flashbangs go in, make way for the nade. They see a late rotate. Slip almost gets caught. Was able to get away just in time. India Crossfire now into Master as well, but Bio goes huge for 2. Evening the man count is Mikey, but still, it should not be as close as it is. Bio finally gets taken out, but the damage is done.
Big, exactly what, oh my god, what Unemployment needed, but it looks like Vipers, they're ready to strike back. Valor at least is, as he just tries to whip out the pistol and take another duel with Hat. That doesn't work. Indy, the last player there, to clean him up. And while it was a bit back and forth, it was Unemployment who just kept holding on and kept denying the Vipers' aggression from paying off.
Yeah, the early pick definitely helped, and again, although Bio went big in Master, it wasn't enough. Unemployment were able to kill his support, and from there, Bio was stuck behind the bed with not a lot of maneuverability. From there, Unemployment had the man advantage and just played trades. Valor definitely surprised the attack, but Hat wins the fight, and Indy's just downstairs for a cutoff. So well done to Unemployment again, having their pieces in the right place at the right time. They go up 5-3. They reaffirm their 2-point lead as Vipers continue to not replay a site, just like we saw in the first half from Unemployment, but they bring out Master a whole heck of a lot earlier, maybe leaning into this site more than Garage, opposite from their predecessors this map. They'll still bring the castle on Valor, so a lot of cutoffs now disabled for the attack. Snake as well, roaming downstairs on the Oryx. Curiously enough, not an operator we've seen yet, despite him being a rather popular operator on this map in particular, and someone that I know especially CZ loves to run.
Yeah, Oryx is actually something that we've seen from, I think, both of these teams, something we've seen, like you said, before. Surprising that we didn't see that from Unemployment on their defensive side, but now Vipers are bringing it out, and they are continuing to bring out that same pace, defensive pace, that aggression, those surprise challenges, and just simple gunplay, right? That's exactly what Vipers continue to turn towards, and it's at least worked for them in round number 9 as they've taken the life of Mikey early. Good on Slippery for making that happen. It's been back and forth with this aggression. They've had some success, and they've had, in the last round, right, some failures, but it's right now that mixed bag, at least in round number 9, is working in their favor. Now Unemployment will have to clear their way through what looks to be a pretty daunting hold outside of this piano double door. They're now going to do it with, 1 and now 2 fewer bodies. CZ's also gone. You've lost your sledge and the nades that he brings into the table. So much of that utility has already been lost within the first 60 seconds. Now, Kid Hat, he will take care of Slippery. Rather, Hat will take care of Slippery, so he's able to get something back. The Vipers still with a pretty substantial advantage given how much Unemployment they'll have to claw their way through.
Hat also lit up. He does still have 2 nades to get some indirect kills if he's afforded the opportunity, but you see Unemployment aren't playing off of a lot of info. Default Cam staring at Hat will still soften up Rice a little bit, but there's still plenty of plant denial on the board for Vipers. Gas canisters, all of them available for Rice until he sends out the first. Biologic still with a C4, and Slippery downs Indy despite the pre-fire. And then Indy gets finished off by the Aruni Gate. Not a gadget you see a kill often with, but Valor is at least refragged quite literally by Hat, who decided to take matters into his own hands, go below, and get a freebie. But still, it's no even man count. Vipers still lead by 1. The wall soft right next to Carnage B. He's looking to try and breach in as Hat presses the issue towards Piano, sees the Oryx just for a second, but knows he has to fall off the angle. He can't risk exposing himself too much, because just a couple bullets into him, and Carnage V loses his support. Sounded like the wall went down. Carnage V trying to sneak his way in, but there's still a lot of utility in his way. Gas canister out from Rice will force him out of the building, and as he loses his support, he's stuck in a 1 versus 3, only 20 seconds left. He catches the shoulder or elbow of Snake there, but doesn't land enough shots by the time the Oryx reacts, and we're back to a 1-round game.
Yeah, Viper's staying alive here, preventing Unemployment for having their chance at finishing off the game, preventing them for match point for at least a bit longer, as the score now sits at 5-4. Viper's not doing anything too special there, starting out with some aggression from Slippery, and then allowing that aggression to really pay off by exploiting the man advantage as best they could. They then forced Unemployment, right? We saw that in the mid-round. They forced Unemployment to clear their way through a bit of an extension outside that piano double door, right? We don't usually see that shield so forward in that hallway. So much utility preventing Unemployment for actually just taking control of that close corner. Normally that hold is in piano itself, but by extending a bit further, Vipers were able to leverage the man advantage they had already secured even more. They were able to maintain that control even longer. And then we saw how that opening kill then led to a second. How even though Vipers lost a couple of bodies, they kept up the trades and they never let that advantage slip away. Definitely the strategy that Vipers have brought out most of their defensive rounds so far. Early aggression to a fallback strategy that can exploit that as best they can. See if they continue that pattern, and especially if Unemployment can finally get a handle on that aggression and find a way to stop it, much like they did in round number 8.
Actually, Jonos, I just now know, I can't believe it's taken us this long to realize, but with the exception of round number 1, the team who gets the opening pick has won the round. And I think we can all agree that Vipers should have probably won round number 1 if they weren't 1v4'd. So we have a pretty clear trend so far. That's whichever team gets that opening pick is able to snowball it into the round win every single time. Pretty much 100% thus far. Oh, the Iana misdrones Valor. That's huge. The drone, though, I believe spots him, so he will fall back. No freebie for the alibi to start things off in this round, but what?
Nice shot.
That was... Did he shoot, like, through the little corner? Because, okay, so on the walls, like, where that little corner of wood sticks out, on the very, very tip of the corner, it's actually wall bangable, and I think that's what Hat just shot through.
Well done. Good use of the game mechanics there, and nice. I guess intel he had must have seen Slippery somehow. Don't just let a single bullet fly like that if you're pre-firing an angle. So well done. Now, with that kill, Unemployment, like we've mentioned just a moment ago, Harrison, they've got the opener. Now they've just got to use that as best they can to take this control on the top floor. Valor is somehow allowed to get 1. Eventually, he's traded off, though, by Hat, and Mikey will follow that one up onto Bio, leaving Rice and Snake left alone to fend for themselves. And Snake, he really wants to take matters into his own hands, it appears. He's actually going to go for a flank on this top floor. Maybe try to take back some of this control while Rice just tries to hold down the site by himself. But as soon as Unemployment gets some intel, they're likely going to start watching the flank, and it looks like Hat may be aware of this. Yes, they've got a drone exactly on Snake's position. They've got pings on Snake's position. Rice will collect a kill, but Snake, he's being pinched off, so he's going to have to rotate back to the site. Rice, though, steps up. He gets aggressive and gets a kill. Karn now trying to get this bomb down, but he knows it's very risky with 2 of these defenders circling back to the site on full HP.
Circling back to the site, and not only that, but the hatch upstairs open. It's not safe for Karn, and he doesn't know about the player pushing his short. No info for the Hibata right now. Mikey there as the savior just in time to take out Snake. And Rice is alone, but he's upstairs. Does he have the info to play off of? The hatches are both open. Only 1 second left. He kills the planter, but Mikey's there for the trade. Oh, Rice, a beautiful attempt. 3 kills on the round, but it was not enough. And Unemployment, again, opening pick, end up winning the round and put themselves on match point.
Right, just barely, but the pattern, it still stays true. Opening pick has been allowing these teams on both the attacking and defensive side to just leverage that advantage just all the way home to triple zeros, all the way home to the end of the round, and Unemployment barely hang on, but they do it just the same. Rice put in a hell of an effort, though. Like you said, Harrison, he was alone on the site, straight up alone, because Snake was busy going for a bit of a creative flank. He was spotted, and that was clearly not going to work. So for about 40 seconds, I'd estimate, Rice was just holding down the site without any support. I imagine he had a little bit of intel to play off of, but other than that, it was just pure and simple gunplay, a good set of headphones, and some really smart decisions. I mean, choosing to retake those blue stairs when the site is so vulnerable like that, that's not an easy decision to make. When you know that Unemployment could just drop down and take that control as soon as you reposition, but he was able to get not only 1, but 2 kills as he rotated around, and eventually able to get that 3rd kill, but just could not prevent him from getting traded out in the end. But like you said, Harrison, he came very, very close.
Yeah, valiant attempt from Rice. I think if the time was just a little bit lower, you could have definitely won that round, but Unemployment find themselves on match point. Ever since rounds 1 and 2 that Unemployment won in a row, it has been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Just like the entry picks, just like the rounds, and if the trend continues, Jonah, it should be 6-5 here. Vipers with the leadoff kill onto none other than Mikey, the top fragger for Unemployment, though not by much. It's his utility that's so much more important. We've seen him do beautiful things on these top floor clears, a big part of why Unemployment have been able to garner upstairs control. Now, if Unemployment end up getting that control, they're going to be without one of their soft breachers.
That is a big kill to find for Vipers. Like you said, the skeleton key gone. I mean, you do have the breaching hammer from CZ, and wow, you still have Indy, but just barely. That slow peek paddle between Indy and Slippery really felt like it might have gone the other way for just a moment, but Indy prevails and keeps those Candelas a factor for this late round, or even for this mid or early round if they want to use that utility to clear out these top 4 players. Bio is one of them, Snake another, but Snake's been finished off quickly as Indy will now drop away with a good 2 kills under his belt.
Okay. Unemployment bucking the trend. Looking like they might actually take a round despite losing the opening pick thanks to the efforts of Indy. Hat almost had an opportunity, but the player gets away from him, at least for now, but he'll send out a nade. It forces back the Valkyrie, and he cannot capitalize. Valor gets away to die another day, and the castle will regroup with him. So 2 players now holding on to trophy as Indy backs off towards the window. He'll start to pre-fire through, almost lands the shot onto Valor. It's Hat to finish him off. Another for Hat. Rice, again, a clutch situation, but this time it's do or die. He's got 1. Hat down. Indian Karn, the last 2 left, but still full utility from this Ying. Candelas and flashes both go out. Rice is stuck here, gets the quick peek. Down goes Indy, 1v1. All Karn has to do is land a couple bullets, but he can't do it. Rice, 1 versus 3 to keep his team alive.
Yeah, and the pattern, that opening kill, I mean, apparently it's just giving these clutch players the power to close it out. Rice putting on a show. Really came down to poor use of utility there from Unemployment in the end. Maybe lack of intel as well, compounding that problem, because they threw those Candelas in, sure, but they came nowhere close to the smoke. Rice wasn't even sort of bothered by it. He was able to swing out and get 2 or 1 very easy kill onto the Ying. He was busy sprinting down the hallway. I'm not exactly sure what intel Unemployment was working off of to encourage the use of those Candelas in the places that they were eventually thrown, but a clear miscall, right? A bad read of the situation. Just had no idea where Rice was. And after that, both of your players exposed in that hallway, in that 1v1, absolutely favors Rice. With Candelas like that, with the smoke, with 2 smokes in pocket, not using those smokes, you would really expect the attacking team to win that. But, I mean, Rice doing exactly what he needs to do to keep his team in this fight. So it's match point still, but it is only 1 round away from Vipers taking us to overtime.
the Candela placement, even if they didn't have info, the Candela placement from Indy was questionable because you can fully sweep the bomb site with just 3 Candelas. You just didn't throw them in the right spot. So I'm sure that's a lesson that Indy has learned for future rounds if he plays the Ying. Vipers, despite having their backs against the wall, still not letting up the aggression. Snake right on this window. The popped open barricade, a little bit of a gunner hole here. See if the attack expects someone to be playing on it. His sandwich window is now open. And he'll start to fall off the initial peak. Maybe hide in the corner. Maybe attempt to rat here. That really might be his only play. He doesn't have impacts. He brought a bulletproof. So while there's added info on the site, he can't really make himself an escape route through this hatch, but his teammate can. The assist from Rice. Beautifully timed, and Snake is able to get away.
Just in the nick of time, I'll add, because, yeah, that one came disastrously close for Snake, but you're right. He survived with full HP, wasted, a little bit of time while Unemployment tried to work their way in and maybe deal with him, but he'll be able to drop back all the way to the site without a problem at all. He'll join Valor and Slippery down below, and they'll just spend some time twiddling their thumbs while they really rest their hopes, at least, on slowing down the attack on Bio, who is sitting all the way up top. Imagine Rice has also tucked himself back on the site. Yes, he has. Just Bio, the last player extended all the way up above. Snake might want to reposition over in kitchen and dining, and he will do that. And a great C4 from Valor with some good intel takes down CZ, so that's a great start.
A great start, and remember the trend, opening picks have won rounds. A great start for Valor. Not only the opening pick, but probably the best operator you could have done it on. Indy is now the only man left who can actually use that soft breach efficiently. He'll end up using a hard breach charge to open up Khan. Indy's taking fire from Dining. Mikey softened up as well. I'm not quite sure from where. Unemployment have 40 seconds now to try and transition into an execute with roamers still on the board. I believe that's Snake inside of Dining. Bio is still upstairs. And Rice gets a shotgun kill on the Mikey. The Maestro peeks out a little bit too far. Karn gets a freebie. Make it a second as he downs Rice in blue, but it's no finisher. Valor is able to get the res, so it'll still be a 3 versus 4. Indy tries to sneak drop in, but Snake catches him. Hat follows it up onto Bio, so the roamer is dead, but the time is low. 10 seconds left. Karn is in a covered spot behind the shelf, but no, he's gonna press the issue up against Blue, has no info, walks right into Rice, puts Hat in a 1v3, but Hat, does he have time? No, Snake is just out of range. Hat couldn't find the 4th kill to win the round, and we go to overtime.
Overtime it is. We saw a clean 7-0 in that first map, and now we're going as long as we possibly can. I mean, maybe we'll go to round 15, maybe we won't, but the point is, overtime is what we've got in the cards. In that last round, though, I mean, it was so close for Unemployment. It looked like they had another opportunity to come in clutch in that 2v3, and Karn, tried to get creative and push into Blue. Normally, I'd say that's a fantastic strategy. I think it's a good situation in that 2v3. You've got to find some way to surprise at least one of those defenders. You've got to find some way to take a 1v1 and prevent getting traded. The one thing that really threw his plan through a loop was the fact that there was a Maestro Evil Eye on the wall staring right at him. So when he rounded the corner and tried to surprise, it wasn't a surprise. It was very well known by the defense, so he was quickly shut down with no problem at all. Again, an Evil Eye, which can be controlled by the Maestro after he's died. You can just turn it around, you can see, oh, hey, Karn is sprinting into Blue. Relay that information to his team, and they dealt with Karn pretty quickly after. So, yeah, just like that, it's overtime.
Karn didn't even seem ready for the fight. Like, moving into Blue is one thing, sprinting into Blue is another. Also getting punished for not being able to finish off the player he had downed in Blue earlier, which was, I believe, Rice. CZ, though, starts things off well for his team. Again, the trend has not been broken. Is that grim tidings for Vipers in round 1 of overtime? Snake dead first. Next on the docket is Slippery, but he's only able to land 1 bullet into the chest of Hat before he's forced to retreat.
Early aggression, though, from Vipers still paying off. Maybe not in kills, but at the very least in a good bit of damage. Fink is banned, so Hat's not going to get that health back, nor will CZ, as he's also been taken down. The same long angle that Slippery has played on several occasions will pay dividends once more, as CZ is cut down to 20 HP, Hat to 50 HP, and Slippery has all of his HP. Well-timed punch there. Good coordination from Vipers as Bio will take down Mikey thanks to a well-timed punch from Slippery, opening up that castle barricade in one hit with that Aruni, allowing Mikey to get exposed, allowing Bio to swing him. That's well done.
Mikey was very obviously not expecting that. Definitely interesting that he hit the repel, but either way, the man advantage really for Vipers, especially considering the HP. CZ very low, Hat down to half HP, Valor tucked behind half wall. Flashes are going to start to go in, but I don't know if the attack knows about him. The nade placement definitely says they do. Valor's now lit up to 1 HP. Follow-up nade coming in from Hat, but he moves away. They definitely have active info on him because they're aware of it, but the second nade misses. It bounces off. It was miscooked from Hat. That means another nade has to go in and at least downs the castle, which allows an opening, an opportunity now for unemployment. The man advantage now gained, but evened by Rice. He has stepped up tremendously on the defensive half, but now, again, man advantage for unemployment. Can Rice step up again? He's got gas canisters. He'll send his second one out. He's got one left, but he's cut down by CZ. 3 kills for the Sledge. Bio dead. And unemployment. It started to slip away, but they end up keeping the trend alive. Opening pick gets them the round win, and they're up 7-6.
Yeah, and they really change up that rhythm, right? It was Vipers who had that, I guess. Right. Was that an opening pick for unemployment?
Yeah, CZ killed Snakes like spawn peeking.
Okay.
And then Vipers got that that little rally with Slippery.
Because it was so surprising because the early pressure from Vipers looked like it was going to get the opening kill, right? It was Slippery who downed one, damaged another, but he never actually got a kill. That's a good point. It really felt like Vipers had that early momentum. Felt like we would be saying that pattern finally changes, but I mean, at the end of the day, unemployment did get that opening kill, and they did use that to just brute force their way in and take that control. So that is really well done, right? We lost Mikey, of course, who tried to, go for that repel, and the barricade got punched, and Bio took that kill, and that did equalize us pretty quickly after that opening kill was secured, but a great performance nonetheless. Unemployment, who were able to just keep up the pressure and deny Vipers from making any sort of comeback in that round. So yeah, another chance for them to put this game away. Their third match point of the match.
You also gotta look back at that round number 1. Because if the trend was 100%, and Vipers did not lose that 1v4, they'd have won the map by now. They would have won 7-5. But instead, we're in overtime. And because of a little overzealousness, not enough team play, unemployment leads 7-6. So it just goes to show you how important clutch rounds really are in Siege, especially with how few rounds you need to win compared to a lot of other tactical FPSs, and just the trends that Siege tends to have within individual maps. I mean, those clutches tend to be oh so important. Case in point right here, situations like this. Vipers would have already won by now, but instead, they face match point for the 3rd time. CZ, now without his shield, but perhaps that's when he becomes the most dangerous. We've seen him do work from this blue stairs no matter what happens. He is a great death position player, and Vipers seem a little tentative about pushing him this time.
Yeah, they're going to try to open things up with some utility as the focus. And good use of that Rotero drone from Bio will remove the shield in that chimney position, but Snake's been downed from where? I guess it's just Hat swinging on this library window, but the thing is, Snake has not been finished off, so it doesn't count as an opening kill just yet. Oh no! It's a frost mat. That's what happened. It's gonna be Valor though, who actually gets the opener, so Vipers will technically get that opening kill, but Hat is quick to trade it. Snake is still down. Hat? Where'd that kill come from? Somehow lands a bullet onto the head of Slippery as he goes down. So with Hat down and Snake down, this one has turned into a 3 versus 1. Valor is the last player standing for Vipers, the last thing that can keep Vipers alive and prevent this map from closing out 8-6.
He's got a minute left to do it. He can take his time if he wants, but he'll finally kill the downed player. There's someone right behind him, though, supporting from main stairs. Missed shots from Karn allows Valor down blue, but they've got the info. Mikey is playing right beneath him as the Lion tries to charge his way through, and he loses the fight. Mikey wins it, and as Snake was not finished off before Valor killed CZ, since for the first time since round 1, the opening frag did not result in that team winning the round, and it comes on match point. Just what Unemployment needed. They take the game 8-6, and Jonah, for what seems like the millionth time, we all look silly.
Yes, we do. If we all predict the same team, I feel like that team is cursed. It's a fact at this point. We've said this for years at this point, but another example that you can put down in the book. All of us being bad at our job. Well, technically it's more of the analyst job, but whatever. We're all bad at our job.
I just copy. That's all.
Exactly. I just copy and paste what he's saying. No, but in all seriousness, that was well played from Unemployment, and only fitting that in that last round they do break that rhythm. And it did seem like a matter of time, because there were a lot of examples where that team got the opening kill and then they still had to come in clutch, right? We saw that from Unemployment, right? You know, when Rice was in that 1v2, Vipers had technically gotten the opening kill, but the situation, it definitely favored Unemployment, and they really should have won the game at that point. But another example where, you know, some patterns, even though they may not be really that powerful, they are fun to point out as stats, and worth mentioning because Unemployment did break that streak, and they won the game because of it.
Yeah, definitely. And now after our first 2 games, I mean, we have LSR confirmed in a relegation spot. We have to wait till the Game of Gladiators game to see if they are just insta-booted from the league or if they actually get to play a game for their spot. Meanwhile, Unemployment, they finish at 12 points, and for now, take 8th from Aerial Arise. So who would have thunk Aerial Arise and LSR would be in 2 of our bottom 4? But anyway, that's the second game done. We have 3 more left, but until then, it's back to the analyst desk to once again justify our silliness.
I'm going to go ahead right now, personally, and blame this on Cookies. I think that was a great opportunity to take one for the team, and to just, you know, have life play out as it should, but it just did not. Cookies, this was a scrappy match, and as many successes as there were on each side, there were equally as many mistakes.
Yeah, I just want to say I picked Karn's team like 90% of the time this stage. I sincerely believed in this team this whole time. And in this game, I said, you know what? I'm going to switch it up. And I was wrong. But you know what? That's okay. We'll take those. Let's talk the specifics, though. I guess to start with the bans, they tried to target ban Hat. I'm gonna be real with you. They banned Finka Vipers. Like, well, Hat's not gonna be able to do nothing on Ayana. And of course, Hat one is. He's been doing it all stage. Incredible on attack. Kind of whatever on defense. Though I will say, last round, y'all saw that shot. I had to replay it about 10 times. That shot on I think it was Slippery. Slippery got deleted into the Shadow Realm. And Hat pulled through for his team today and was biblicidal.
Ooh.
In their victory.
Oh, wow.
This game. Yep.
That's a new one right there.
Biblicidal. I don't even know how to follow it up. I mean, keeping it honest. So, like, I think you said it best while we were watching the game there, Brim. It seemed like we were getting a collective team effort coming out from the side of Unemployment, and it felt like with Vipers, like when they were winning rounds, it was one guy individually popping off, who was putting up some big numbers, whether that be the Rice clutch or the Snake clutch on the defensive half. It just felt like as a unit they weren't really getting anything done. I know Valor, he had like a really brutal attack half. It seemed like he was just getting absolutely farmed from the side of Unemployment, and you got to give Unemployment credit. Like, they were playing defensively really structured and strategical. They were pulling back when they needed to. I know there were some blunders with their positioning, but even Karn getting a 4K on the first round kind of set the tone for how the defensive half was going to go for the side of Unemployment.
An interesting game nonetheless, but now we have our opportunity to talk to Mikey, and I'm sure he's gonna have some great answers for us. Mikey, we're here once again for the end of stage 2 at least. This was a scrappy match. Are you were you sweating through this? Not out of fear, I mean sweating just because the length that it took. This was an exhausting one.
Yeah, for sure. Like we definitely could have ended it way earlier with that 1v3, but trolled. I won't even lie. But we closed out at the end, focused, and made sure we got the dub.
Is this like one of those matches where just as a group you have to be resilient? Like you win a round, then they take a round, then you win a round, and then they take a round. Is it tougher to keep your focus in a match like that?
I mean, not necessarily, but like for everything, we were prepped for this game. We knew what map they're gonna take us to, and everyone performed great today. Hat performed great, Indy, Connor with that 1v4, and CZ with those openings. Like everyone played at their heart today, and it showed. And I'm just proud. It finally feels like we're kind of getting the click together because unfortunately I wasn't able to play half the season, so and that just affected everything.
Has this kind of been almost like a euphemism for your stage and season where, every time you get the ball rolling, it feels like, a little bit of a roadblock. And where do you go from here with the team?
Yeah, for sure. Like almost like 99% of the stage, we had to just plug it out, and it was so hard to get in practice, and it really did affect us and how we performed. And now it's just time to get better. We didn't have the stage that we wanted, obviously, but just only room to improve.
Well, we look forward to stage number 3. Thanks a lot, Mikey.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, an absolute slugfest. You know what? I gotta say, I'm not disappointed. I think we have some. I mean, you see the first matchup of the day where it was an absolute blowout, but you love to see these matches where it goes down to the wire. It's unpredictable, and both teams are giving it everything they've got. But that game is done and dusted. We have to get on to match number 3. So after a quick break, we'll have Luminosity taking on Nocturnes.